A girl named Jane was going to high school, and when she arrived, her friend inquired about her health. "What have you done to yourself? Why do you have messy hair? Have you gone to the forest today?" The scene cuts to the students taking their math class. Exam results are read out loud to them by their teacher. No one had decent marks except Jane. Her friend asks the teacher when she will make us understand these questions and conduct another test. She is reprimanded by the teacher, who says, "I won't teach you these questions again." She replies, "You have only taught us once." The teacher writes a question on the board and asks Jane to solve it. She takes the choke to solve the question. Everyone gets shocked, remembering she had attended only one class, but still, she solved the question easily. The students were asking for a second test, but the teacher says if she has solved it, then why don't you solve it? "I will not conduct the test again." Jane and her friends were discussing the math teacher, and her friend asked her to request the math teacher to conduct their test again. She says her mother discovers her marks aren't good, she will beat the hell out of her. Another friend of Jane who has blonde hair asks Jane to request the math teacher again. She claims that if I don't get good grades, I'll be kicked out of the football game. She agrees when everyone insists on her talking to the teacher. A sports teacher is shown who is conducting a test for a mascot. He divulges that the winner will be permitted to wear the mascot if they perform well. There was a French boy in their group who wanted to wear it. But because of his poor performance, his teacher forbids him from donning the mascot. Another boy named Brody impresses the teacher and wins the argument to wear it. Jane again goes to the math teacher to request a new test. By the time he glimpses outside the window, he discovers Jane's friends have sent her. They talk about a toy that was sitting on his desk and was holding a hammer. After getting a request from Jane to perform the test again, he becomes furious and scolds Jane, saying she is a good student. "But you don't perform well because of your friends. You can even get more marks than 96. I would rather say you could get 100 out of 100 marks. Why don't you make notes in class?" She replies, "I do make notes," and the teacher checks her notes. There wasn't anything written in the notebook. She says, "I perform better than anybody in the class," but he reveals that you perform better than those idiots. There are two types of people, those who have a hammer and those who have a guitar. People who own guitars frequently play them and then beg hammer owners for help when they are in need. Because those who own hammers cut the wood and take care of their needs. They make great things. I want you to develop into that person who uses a hammer to forge a successful outcome for herself. He was furious at her while saying this. She came out and wept a lot because she was feeling uncomfortable. She tells her friend, and her friend takes her to the principal. She complained to the math teacher that he misbehaved with me and he became furious at me without any reason. The principal can't understand them, but her friend reveals her father is a member of the head court. He would be angry if she complained to him about this. "If you do not listen to us, you risk being expelled from the school as well." The principal stands with them, and the focus of the action then shifts to a football. Unfortunately, their group member lost, and Fred was saying to her friend that the math teacher would do something bad to us. Her friend calms him down by saying, "Don't worry, he will be terminated from the school. We will not see his face tomorrow." Their French friend argues with Brody because he was wearing the mascot and he didn't have the chance to wear it. There was a fight between them, and Brody hit him with a punch. Later, the friends were discussing stealing the whiskey of their sports teacher. He always has a mug filled with whiskey. Jane tells them there is a drawer in her office and there were many whiskey bottles. A boy from their group named Ellis suggests we will steal all the bottles this Friday night. Another friend says, "What about the cameras?" The school security is tighter than before. Jane reveals to them she knows how to hack the cameras and that she will take care of it. The next Friday, they reach the school to steal the whiskey and find many whiskey bottles in the drawer. They discover a large amount of the sports teacher's scotch, and at the same time, Jane turns the cameras off. The group of friends decides to play a game in which the winner receives the most whiskey bottles for killing the most people. When Jane was questioned about this, she responded, "I will never murder anyone because I don't want to regret it for the rest of my life." They were enjoying school and their French friend went to the washroom. Due to overdrinking, he vomits and then a man wearing a mascot comes there. He was having a hammer in his hand and wearing the same costume as Brody. Meanwhile, it is discovered that their friend with blonde hair likes the French boy. She goes to the washroom and finds his death there. Everyone hears her yell and rushes to the restroom to find out why the girl is crying. Ellis confirms by witnessing the dead body in the washroom and tells everyone that the French boy has been murdered. Everybody freaks and Ellis suggests we should run from here. The girl with the blonde hair says we can't move while leaving him here. Ellis explains to them that the murderer might be somewhere around them. He will find us. They should leave as fast as possible. Everyone in the group of friends agrees, but the dead boy's girlfriend admits that she saw Brody there. He was wearing that mascot and had murdered the French boy. She was furious and wanted to take revenge by killing him. She even tries to break the window, but Jane tells her this window will not break because it is bulletproof. They all were trapped in the school because the doors were closed and the windows were bulletproof. They were unable to plan their exit from this location. The blonde-haired girl proposes a plan that as soon as Brody arrives there, they will attack him. After getting keys from him, they will leave the school. Jane reveals that today is Friday and the cleaner of the school will come on Saturday. He will open the room. We should wait until he comes. But no one agreed, and her friend says she will not take revenge on anyone. She just wants to escape from there. They check all school doors to find a door that might be unlocked, but they fail. Ellis suggests they can go out through vent, but the blonde-haired girl says she will leave only after taking revenge on Brody. He argues that given that a boy read his diary, which contained many strange entries, it's possible that he wasn't Brody and was instead our sports teacher. She does black magic, maybe she is the killer. They somehow force her to agree and get ready to run from there. Meanwhile, the man with the hammer arrives there and everybody leaves except the blonde-haired girl. As she moves forward to attack, the man kills her brutally. One of their friends also gets hurt in her leg and they take her to a room. They were discussing their next plan to get out from there, but the killer has arrived there. He comes at Ellis from behind, killing him instantly. Jane was disheartened because of Ellis's death. She runs with her friend somehow and they manage to reach the library. Her friend was asking, again and again, where is Ellis? But she was weeping and she understands that he is dead. She becomes furious and shouts at her, this happened because of you. You have become helpless in front of me against math teacher, and that's why I suspected the math teacher. What did I do wrong? Jane asks. I have forbidden you not to complain to the principal. She was angry at her and blames Jane for everything. She shouts, you are a poor girl and you can never be like me. Without me, you would have no friends. She understands from the way she was talking that she is jealous of her. She was pushing Jane while calling her poor. Jane replies to her while pushing her, and due to that, she falls and dies there. When Jane entered the math teacher's room, he was cheerful. As if nothing had happened. He explains that he never wanted to do anything he has done. But she compelled him to teach her and today she has pushed her friend. You should have done this before. I wanted you to stay away from them and recognize how talented you are. Today you have the hammer and I always wanted you to hold the hammer. He starts finding something from the drawer and takes out a pencil. He reveals that she dropped that pencil some days ago and she is getting it back now. Value yourself and recognize the talent in you. While holding this pencil, Jane attacks him and runs from there while taking the keys. She reaches the gate and opens the door with the keys. After getting out, she realized that there were no signals on her phone. Meanwhile, the teacher arrives and attacks her. She escapes from him and hides in a tree while climbing on it. When the teacher follows her into the forest, the branch of the tree breaks, and she falls on him. She stabs the pencil in his eye again and she murders him brutally with a hammer. The scene cuts to Brody witnessing something in the mirror. Meanwhile, two men are depicted and they notice bloody Jane walking out of the woods with hammer in her hand. The film ends here. Thanks for watching and check out our next movie recap displayed on screen.